Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're here.
Back again.
Guess who's back?
Rotator.
Ice cream sandwich.
Ooh, that sounds so good right now.
You ever just...
Did you know they make Oreo cookies and cream ice cream sandwiches?
Yeah, I did know that. I used to weigh 362.6 pounds. I am aware.
This is very specific. That's a lot of pounds.
It's a lot of pounds.
I wonder if this pedal has that many pounds.
I wonder how heavy this pedal gets.
Hell.
Gent.
Segway.
We're here.
I'm Kogan.
We're Steers. I'm Chance.
We for sure didn't introduce each other or ourselves on the last episode. But I think at this point, if you guys don't know it already, and if this is your first time listening, then maybe go back like one or two episodes and you'll see who we are.
Yeah. I feel like you can't listen unless you know.
You know, and it's kind of one of those things. I don't introduce myself to my family.
That's true.
And our listeners are they're family to me.
Yeah.
They never email me, they never call, they never text, and so it's just like my family.
But if I disappear,
They go,
where'd you go? Yeah, exactly. Commentary.
So today we've got a special treat for you.
Yes. Kogan is playing my handy dandy 95
Stratocaster.
One of my most prized possessions. Recently, someone offered me a Strat in a trade, and I was like, I have the strattiest Strat I would ever want to have. Personal opinion, but...
Mm-hmm. And you got that 61 Reissue SG.
Yep. I love it.
With 57 classics.
My current favorite humbucker for anything serious. If I wanted to get a little weird, DiMarzio Super Distortion is a favorite of mine. But
just have some fun.
Be a little silly. Go out with the girls. It's the weekend, you know. But and we're going into a Hughes and Kettner Statesman Dual EL84 112 combo, mic'd the Eminence rock driver inside of it, which I said last episode is a predecessor to the Wizard. It's mic'd up with a 57. I am also running into a Marshall 212 G1275s, mic'd up with an Audix i5, which, you know what? That thing's got a good flavor, the i5.
I like it.
It's pretty cool. But enough about all that nonsense. We have to say that. It's like a legal disclaimer. We're here to talk about...
this black box in front of me.
This black box and the silver box that's next to it. Because the entirety of the boutique pedal market is based on the idea of Tubescreamers not being good enough.
Mm-hmm. And
so people have been modding, enhancing, changing, all that stuff.
Yes.
Because we want anything other than a Tubescreamer. Mm-hmm. Well, today we essentially have two different flavors of 808 Tubescreamer variation, as far as I can tell. We have one that's fancy and one that's very basic. Well, they're actually both basic or fancy because
they're both fancy. This one's got switches on it.
One is more of a budget model,
yes,
and one's kind of the Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
So we got on the left we have the Hyundai Sonata,
and on the right we have
a Bugatti.
A Bugatti. Is that a car or a motorcycle? Bugera.
No, Bugera is that's a different company entirely. Kogan, tell us about these pedals.
Okay, so first up in the chain, we've got a Will Sledge. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Will Sledge FX. It is called the Veil. What a freaking cool name.
The Veil has torn.
Oh, my gosh. And this thing, apparently, is an 808 style overdrive. I'm not going to use the C word. Clone.
No. Because cloning is unethical.
Exactly. And it's got a JRC 4558 chip in it for that 808 style overdrive. And then it's got a clean boost on it. And the overdrive, I think he calls it the 919 overdrive.
Yeah.
instead
of 808. It's basically a +1
to everything. So you get the 919, and then I forget what the clean boost side is called, but it's just a clean boost, and they operate independently, and you can decide which hits what first with the little switch. Then we've got a Biyang.
I think we're saying that right. Tone Fancier.
Yeah, Tone Fancier. Is this a French company? Biyang.
Biyang.
I think it's
I'll take the
Chinese, Japanese.
I'll take the
Taiwanese.
Pork fried Biyang.
And it's called the X-Drive OD-8. I've actually played on one of these, and we're going to use the Tubescreamer setting. Well, I guess they're all Tubescreamer settings. We're just going to use the T1 setting. Well, I don't know. We'll see what we do with it. So, just to kind of compare Tubescreamer styles and overdrives.
Yeah. So the Biyang, you could you could probably pick up on reverb for what?
$10. I don't know.
Really?
No, I have no idea.
I mean, it's
very affordable.
It's a budget pedal.
Yeah,
for sure. I will say,
and it is mirrored. This aluminum.
It is aluminium.
Like I can see myself perfectly in this pedal.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah. So the build quality on it's pretty good.
Yeah. And I've played one, and I think it sounds good. It sounds like a Tubescreamer.
Yep.
So let's get to the veil. And there's 4 knobs on this thing.
Yeah.
2 foot switches and 1 switch.
Hand switch.
And let's call it a finger switch.
Okay.
None of them are marked, so we're going to figure out what does what. Also, neither one of the channels are marked. Now, what we could do is go to his website and figure this all out. Or we could just turn knobs and press buttons until we figure out what does what.
We'll probably figure it out. I do know that the right side is, or the right foot switch is the boost, which is indicated with a blue LED. The 808 LED is green.
Makes sense.
Of course. So the far right knob is just the volume for the boost, and the left 3 knobs do the 808 side of it.
Now that's interesting, putting the boost on the right side and the overdrive on the left side.
Right.
But even though you can change which hits what
the
first.
Order, right. Why don't we start with some clean tones?
Let's do it.
Here's that SG. I say clean with air quotes.
Yeah.
Because we
there's
some hair.
Let's be honest, we're realists here. Like, I'm not going to use a clean amp live. I'm going to just a little bit of breakup.
Yeah.
Just get that life out of it.
I would rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah, amen.
Whoa. So we need to boost some level here.
Okay.
You figure it out?
So I'm going to say the far left knob is volume, middle knob is tone, right knob is gain. Far right knob is
boost. This is actually pretty transparent, if you pardon my French. It's kind of it really is a It doesn't have that brown paper bag sound, and if you know what I mean,
mid-range.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
That does sound really good. It sounds tight,
straightforward.
So that's tone and gain at noon. Volume's bumped up to like 2 o'clock or so. Let's hear it with the
single coils. single coils, jangle.
What was the demo earlier?
I
can't remember what it was.
It was the bridge of the Jesus Paid It All remix.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's not doing it for me. I'm liking that.
Yeah, I'm really liking it. So one thing it seems to have to me is a little bit of that low mid-range punch to it. Mm-hmm. But it's not like overwhelmingly intrusive.
No, I get that. I'm feeling that as well. Let's dial the gain back a smidge, or do you want to go to the clean channel and just see what that sounds like by itself?
The boost,
or the boost, because they can go independent, right?
Yeah. So let's just do SG. Now, hold on. Now we're talking. So on just shy of noon, we are able to really push the amp farther into that grit. Mm-hmm. While retaining a lot of the integrity of the sound.
Yeah.
That's
very dynamic.
Very cool. And this is Pete Thorne from YouTube. Mm-hmm. I saw him once. He did a demo of his Tubescreamer, just like a regular TS9, and he talked about so like one of his kind of criticisms of the pedal culture is
the abandonment of the original pedal.
Well, but it is kind of a philosophical one. It's probably from. Sorry, I'm going to diss my family right here, but worship guitar players who turn their amps way down and then try to get a pedal to do the rest. Mm-hmm. When the literal name of the pedal is Tubescreamer, it makes the tubes cook. So
yeah,
his whole point, he did an A/B where he did like, here's a 66 Bassman, a beautiful amp, which I do have one, by the way.
Hello.
Where there's mine a 64. It doesn't matter.
I can't remember.
Me neither.
You used to have a 66 for sure.
I used to have a 68, which I wish I had, because I would do an A/B demo for y'all, but no. Mm-hmm. So, but the point was, if I turn it way below breakup and then I turn on the Tubescreamer, it sounds awful. Mm-hmm. If the amp is right there and then I boost what's happening with the amp, like that's what you're supposed to do. So I feel like the boost side of this pedal can kind of achieve that same thing, but with less coloration, right? Mm-hmm. So the amp is already doing the amps thing. And so then I'm not really looking for the pedal to do the tone shaping. The pedal is just pushing.
Yes.
And that...
I agree. That's how it should be.
That's some 12AX7s and some EL84s.
It's hot, cooking it up in the kitchen.
Strat?
Let's see what it sounds like with the Strat. So here is the pedal on. So that's clean. on.
Great body to it.
Yeah, it just makes it feel thicker.
Yeah.
Much thicker.
Wow.
I wonder what they sound like combined.
Ooh, hit it.
A lot of mids. Switch. Now we're getting somewhere. So the switch was on the right.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, well, hold on now.
So
it changes the order.
Yeah. So if I were a pedal designer, if the switch was pointing to the boost would go first. And if it was pointing to the drive would go first.
Yes.
I also think it sounded like when the switch was on the right...
Caught.
He is in a web of his in-ears. So it sounded when the boost, or
it sounded like it was the opposite of what you just said, though.
Really? Because I thought that
it seemed like when we flipped it to the right, the Tubescreamer was the last thing because I was hearing more of the tone.
No, so that's what I'm saying.
Oh, that's what you were saying. Okay,
is when it's on the right, which is pointing to the boost was first.
I'm saying the opposite.
Oh.
Let me here you play. Let's hit it again.
Okay. See, that to me sounds like
the
Tubescreamer harder.
Which makes me think the boost is first.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Because you're boosting into the Tubescreamer.
I see what you mean.
You're boosting after the Tubescreamer. One of us will be right. Either way.
Yeah, and I don't really care which one it is.
No, I like that sound a lot, though, right
It
there.
sounds great.
That's still basically.
No, yeah, we're like running this thing super middle, you know, which I think means that the pedal's been designed to kind of
by a guitar player.
Well, yeah, because like that's the
put everything
spot.
At noon,
and that should be
what it sounds like.
That should be it.
If I need more, I'll go a little bit more.
Yeah. Now, before we do a lot else, should we introduce the Biyang or should we wait until we explore the Veil further?
Let's do it. Let's introduce the Biyang. Let's see what noon on the Tubescreamer side sounds like versus noon on the Biyang. That's the Biyang.
Yep.
Here's the Veil.
So definitely less of that midsy thing in the
Veil
on the Veil.
Mm-hmm.
More. I
Not
think
quite as much gain at noon.
Yeah, and more natural.
So let's see. Let's dive.
But
gain back a little bit.
Not bad.
I want to see if we can get him kind of in the ballpark.
Yeah, because I'm about to say that X Drive did not sound bad.
No, I think especially if we get the tone up a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think right now the Biyang, the X Drive, we've got volume just a little past noon, tone straight up and down. Drive is at 9 o'clock, and then on the Veil we've got drive or gain, whatever you want to call it, and tone at noon, and the volume's at like 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So
like setting for setting, they're not the same.
Yeah, but there's definitely I would say there's a little more hair on the Biyang up to noon for sure. We can still. I mean, we won't know until we dime the gain on
Let's
the Veil.
get hairy.
So here is tone straight up and down, gain dimed on the Veil.
Sounds great. That's also the first ever Dashboard Confessional song we've ever played.
So here's an X Drive with the drive dimed. They sound similar.
Quite as much volume, but definitely similar.
Yeah, let's pull the volume up just.
That is pretty dang close. Wow. Let's try it on single coils just to see if there's some
a difference
weird thing
happening with the SG. I feel like that they're like almost identical, except the Veil has a little bit more. I don't know if clarity is the right word. There's something about it that just a little more defined,
right?
Sounding,
yeah,
compared to the X Drive.
There's more heft to the X Drive, which I think can possibly be that little bit of muddiness.
Yeah, could be.
And so that's the thing about having a tone knob is
you can change the tone.
You can change the tone, but are you cutting treble, boosting treble? So can you particularly take out that low end kind of that, which honestly is pretty slight.
Yeah,
the difference to me is slight,
very slight.
I actually think. At this setup, there's less variation than some of the knob for knob settings we had with the Brat and the Roadkill, which were actual identical pedals.
Yeah,
and so I don't know. Man.
Well, I think the real magic is going to be the clean boost and the Tubescreamer on the Veil.
Oh, for sure.
But the X-Drive sounds good. I mean, it sounds like a Tubescreamer.
Right, quick, let's take that. Why don't you give me both of those on?
Oh, yeah. That sounds pretty good.
That actually was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
It was still very clear. It wasn't
really was.
like crazy sounding.
Yeah.
Let's crank the tone knob up on the Veil and see what that sounds like.
Yeah, let's see kind of what kind of, because it already has a lot of that clarity. So let's kind of see.
So we've got the gain dimed, and we'll put the tone at 3 o'clock.
Yeah. That sounds awesome.
That sounds amazing.
It sounds really good. Wow. We gotta stop doing that.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Huh.
Also, gainier. I mean,
it seems gainier.
It could
be perceived distortion because of the more treble.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm so surprised.
I can't believe it.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I had no expectations going into this because I'd never even heard of this thing. But man, that sounds great.
That really, yeah.
So let's put the X-Drive tone at 3 o'clock as well and see what that does.
See what happens.
Not as bright.
Not as bright. Yeah. We're starting to, well, not. Not as bright, not as tight.
Yeah. So we're leaving the Veil is starting to leave the X-Drive in the dust a little bit.
Yeah. It's kind of that clowny like mentality of controlling the mids so that it like you cut, you're not woofy and getting like jarbled on that
and
low
so
end.
having clarity to it.
Right.
Man, that's just no competition. So that's tone dimed.
Yeah.
It's
still incredibly
so usable.
Yeah.
It's not, there's no ice picks. It's just like very clear, articulate. What is if you roll the volume back, what does it do?
So that's volume at about 3/4. So I mean, I'm still getting a lot.
Mm-hmm. Man, that sounds
But it's, I mean, that's still a full volume knob sweep of deliciousness.
That sounds so good. Let's hear it with the clean on. The clean boost.
Yeah. That's getting into some fuzz territory, if you don't mind me taking your signature catchphrase.
So I think you're right.
Victory is mine.
Because the volume dropped when I turned the clean boost on. So that must be, it's after. Right?
Right.
Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so for sure, when the switch is to the right, the clean is first.
Yeah.
Then the Tubescreamer. And when it switches to the left, the Tubescreamer is first.
To the left, to the left.
To the left. I always forget the second part of that song.
Everything you own in a box to the left.
So, we switch.
I could have another you in a minute. Wait, he'll be here in a minute.
Did you switch songs?
Nope.
Is that Shakira?
Beyonce.
Oh, Beyonce.
You must not know about me.
So we flip the switch to the right, or to the right, clean. Let's just simplify this.
Yep.
Whichever side of the pedal the switch is pointing at is what goes first.
There's a clip of me earlier in this episode.
Are you going to edit it and replay that?
Yes.
And then make like a wah, 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 wah sound?
Yeah.
So the only thing that drives me crazy, though, is just put the Tubescreamer first and then the clean boost.
Yeah.
Or the Tubescreamer on the right and the clean on the left. I don't know. There's got to be a reason. Anyways,
yeah.
Switch to the right, clean first. Switch to the left, Tubescreamer first. So this is Tubescreamer. This is clean into the Tubescreamer.
Yeah.
Does the Hughes and Kettner just make you want to play that?
Yeah. Here.
Alex Laxton's
That's a bass line, I think.
That was pretty good. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
So I definitely like that tone more. Tubescreamer into the clean.
Really? See, I like the opposite.
You like the other one?
Yeah.
What if we dime the clean boost?
What if we just dime the whole thing?
Let's do it.
Let's just get there.
Give me that clean tone. So let's start. Here's Tubescreamer. Here's clean.
Now, I will say that there's a little bit of whistling in there, but it's, hey, that's not uncommon.
Here's clean, just by itself. Ooh.
Now, that is nice.
That amp is cool. Here's both clean into the Tubescreamer. Or Dang it, I forgot what I said. This side is first.
Dimed with the clean boost first. And it ain't clean. That's awesome.
Now, the opposite. Ooh, something is rattling around in there.
Oh, there's some movement happening in that room.
So I think dimed, I like it better with the clean first.
Yeah, but
The other way around, though, I liked it better with the Tubescreamer first.
yeah, they both sound really cool. Really usable sounds. Sort of noisy, but I mean...
Yeah, dimed. But
dimed, like that's just... I mean, that's...
when they weren't dimed, they weren't noisy at all.
Yeah. Why don't we just, right quick, we just heard that. It's fresh on our ears. Let's get that X drive. Let's go ahead and dime it and see what happens.
All right.
And maybe flip it through the different...
The modes.
Switches.
So this is the TS mode. Here's the bright mode. Warm. That sounds a lot like the TS. A slight difference in the mids.
A little bit of like a... Yeah.
Not quite as midsy as the TS.
Yeah.
Well, I think... Okay, so that's that dimed, and then here's just the Tubescreamer dimed on the Veil. Man, I'm not a big Tubescreamer guy. I'll say it. Never really been my thing.
I'll admit it.
There's not a Tubescreamer on my board. There's not anything resembling a Tubescreamer on my board. But that thing sounds amazing. And I would totally play that. I like that a lot, the Veil.
Me too. So I feel like what we get so far... I'm not trying to wrap it up yet, but so far, I think what I'm getting is that the Veil just gives you more options as far as the
tonal options.
Tonal options. The voice settings for me on the Biyang, I mean, I don't think that's necessarily something I can't just do by moving the tone knob around.
Yeah, I think the Biyang, it sounds very usable, but not nearly as musical as the Veil does.
Right.
Because the Veil feels like it's a different class.
Yeah. I definitely think that the Biyang can get you from A to B. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have the coin to drop, I mean, as we proved, you can, and it's just that middle range of stuff. Mm-hmm. Like the extremes are not really comparable because the Veil maintains overall clarity, punch, and tightness. Low gain, high tone, darker.
The whole thing.
The X Drive can kind of do that close to everything's at noon.
Mm-hmm.
Really close to the Veil in that same kind of thing.
But when you start exploring,
but once you start to get it right, so I guess it's just that the versatility is not there with the X Drive. But
yeah, I mean, it's the difference between like a commercial airplane and a fighter jet. They will both transport you places, but when you step on the gas, there's one that is much faster.
One's going to get you there soon. Oh, my wife is going to come home and she's going to make some coffee.
Yeah, I heard her banging around in there.
Really? Michaela, are you here? Yeah. Hi. That's my wife. We're recording the podcast. Love you. Okay. Now I have a P-Bass.
She's making some coffee. I'm excited about this.
Just like last episode, it's got some grit on it, and wait.
That was flawless. I'll get it.
It's kind of gritty, and I love it. So
anyway, so we've got everything on the Veil back at noon, except the volume is pushed just a smidge to kind of get us to unity, and we're off.
Musical. I mean, that
sounds great.
I'm loving that. So cool.
Who did we get this pedal from?
We got them both from Stephen Thorne.
Wow.
Both of them.
He has stepped his game up.
I'm gonna try to convince him to let me have this before he listens to the episode.
The Veil?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll give him $40 for it. Let's turn the tone up a little bit.
So gritty and just...
Now, here's something I'd like to talk about.
Let's hear it. But by the way, before we recorded this, we said, let's make this a fast one.
A fast episode?
Yeah, it's not
Well,
happening.
we've only been talking for 5 minutes.
Oh, my gosh. Are you for real?
Okay, so...
We just can't do it.
Here's something that I love it when pedal makers do, is they take... So, like tone control. I don't need to be able to sweep every conceivable tone on a tone control.
Yeah, so plus and minus infinity is not in my best interest.
No, it's too much. If you bump something, it's gone forever. But when you narrow it down to this is
like fine tuning.
You fine tuned this tone control, because I just went from noon to almost dimed on the tone control, and it got brighter, but it didn't get that much brighter.
Yeah,
it wasn't so. It doesn't get so bright that I can't use it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so they've limited the options for the tone, which maybe some people think is bad. I like it when people do that though, because then it's easier for me to dial in a sound.
The exact right spot.
You know what I mean? Like the difference between a Tele and an SG. Mm-hmm. When I pull the treble up for the humbuckers, I don't need it to go crazy. I just need it a little bit brighter.
Yeah.
Or a little bit not as bright.
You know,
if I'm using like a single coil guitar.
So my mom is a pre-K teacher. And so what those kids need to perform their operation are those little safety scissors.
Yeah.
Right? I could give him a machete. I could give the little kid a katana or an X-Acto knife. But the kid, what is appropriate for the application is some safety scissors with rounded edges in case he falls.
Yeah.
Or she. And the little multicolor rubber handles.
Yeah, that's all you need.
That's all that you need, because there's no necessity.
Save me from myself.
Save me from myself, exactly.
Yeah. And so I would just like to say I really appreciate that about the Veil. I'm feeling
Agreed.
it's easy to dial in a good tone with this thing.
Oh, for sure.
So let's hear just the clean side of the boost with the bass. So we'll put the clean knob at 1 o'clock. So the clean, we didn't say this about the guitar, but I think it's also true for guitar. The clean boost on the Veil seems to be very full frequency.
Yep.
It's just taking what you're feeding it and making it louder.
And this is proving that.
Yeah, because it's like the lows come up, like it's just louder. And I think if we dial it back to Unity, it would sound identical. Well, maybe not. Maybe there's a little bit of brightness there. So there's a little grid on it.
Interesting.
So it's not just a pure volume boost. Sounds good though.
It does. So maybe what I'm here, or like what we're hearing, is the compensation of those highs on the bass that makes it sound more even compared to the guitar.
Oh, science.
Yes, math sciences. Why don't we
hear them both?
You can hear them both, man.
On.
Yeah. Wait. I don't think we've done the X drive at
noon.
The
X drive.
Yeah.
Oops.
Still sounds good though.
Still sounds pretty good.
That's what I'm saying is in that middle range. It's fun.
That's what the tone dimed.
Ooh.
On the extra. Oh, yeah.
Cool. See, I'm not feeling like that has as much low end now.
Well, I think if we pull up the gain, it probably will have more.
Let's try that. And again, this could be. Is that closer or?
I think it's closer because we know for sure the X drive has more gain on the drive knob.
That's true.
So I pulled the gain all the way up on the Veil into gains at noon on the X drive, and I still think the Veil doesn't have as much quote unquote gain.
Right.
But it feels like it's closer. It's more in the ballpark of the low end.
If it's tapered more to the exact right frequency ranges of the guitar's needs, then it would make sense that this would not, because that's what we said about the X drive, is that it had more woofiness to it.
Yeah.
That took away from its clarity.
So maybe the X drive is just like super sleeper bass overdrive pedal.
I mean, because it's got balls.
Yeah, it really does.
BAWLZ. Balls.
OD-8.
XDRIVE. Diamond. Wow. Okay.
Well, that was everything all the way up.
Yeah. So either one of them on their own dimed
is a lot.
Well, wait, but both of them on not dimed, but both of them on with the guitar was fine.
Yeah. I think it's just when you pull that volume all the way up, it's like a
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Dang.
If you're driving or operating heavy machinery. I just imagined when you're pulling that thing down to D that this was a video podcast or whatever they call those, a YouTube channel, I guess. And it was like, and people, the closed captioning just said unintelligible sounds.
Oh, man. Oh. Hey, so, honest opinion, the Veil is a beautifully musical
this thing
drive.
To me, the Veil feels like this is the definition of what a boutique pedal should be.
Right. They started with an idea.
It's handmade by some dude, and
churches get him at a discount.
And it sounds, it sounds like the original, but it has its own flavor.
Right. Now, the Biyang, I wouldn't kick it out of bed for eating crackers.
Amen.
It's not a bad sound.
No.
It is not a bad sound.
It'll get you there.
Providing that your amp's in the right spot, that it's supposed to be in, that the instrument's good, that you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think they're both super usable and they are completely different. They're worlds apart.
Yeah. For
what they do.
You know what? It's like fraternal twins. Is that the term? Like they got they got similar makeup, but
they look different.
They are different.
They're different.
Yeah.
Well, it's like your grandma always said. If you're going into town,
take the Lincoln. Well, that's been this episode of Rotator. I am about to pee my pants.
All right. So I'll do the sign off, I guess. You can email us at rotator.party@gmail.com. Hit us up on IG, a.k.a. Instagram, if that's what you're still calling
IGN
it.
for all your, if you want our
for all your video game
10-2 techniques, hacks.
Email us, hit us up on Instagram. We've got a Facebook group. We've got a website, rotator.party. Will Sledge Effects. I bet if you Google that, his website will pop up. Biyang X Drive. I'm sure you can find that on, like, I don't know, Sweetwater maybe or
something.
Reverb. They're probably
knows.
on there. Who knows where you get them? Anyways, I'm Kogan.
I'm Chance.
And this is Rotator.
Play us out, house band. Yep.